Bartending can be kind of crazy. You're dealing with the public, and sometimes the public is crazy. Today, I'm gonna tell you a story about a guy who almost died at my bar. But I'm gonna be making an absolute delicious cocktail called the Throb while I tell you it. So before we get into this absolutely insane story, the cocktail we're gonna be making today is called the Throb, and it comes from my newest favoriteest cocktail book, Welcome Home by Death & Company. This is an incredible book, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description if you guys wanna check it out for yourselves. This story came about at the kind of the beginning of my bartending career. I had just started bartending maybe a month or two when this happened, and I was still a novice. I wasn't really sure how to deal with a lot of stuff that goes on in bars because it's a little bit of a different vibe than when you're helping someone at a table, when you're just a regular server or a host or anything like that. This gentleman is sitting at our bar for a good part of the afternoon. I believe it's a Saturday afternoon, it's pretty busy, sitting at our bar, and he's just having a couple of beers. At the time, I believe it was either October or November, and we were serving Shipyard Pumpkinhead, which is a pumpkin beer that typically here in New England we'll serve with like a caramel cinnamon sugar rim. Kind of like this, pumpkin beer, cinnamon sugar rim, simple. And so this man was hanging out all afternoon. He had had a couple, maybe 4 or 5, and oh, I should say the original recipe calls for Giffard's Pamplemousse Rosé liqueur, which is just a grapefruit liqueur. I don't have that, so we're using Marie Brizard's pink grapefruit liqueur. Similar flavor, similar profile. I just really want to make this cocktail. And so all of a sudden, after about his 6th or 7th beer, this man passes out. And I'm talking like slumped. Like if he's sitting in the bar chair, he's just like mouth open, drooling, just like. And me and my coworkers at the time were just kind of like, is he asleep? What's going on? Is he okay? And we had no clue what was happening. And so we go up to him, we're like, hey buddy, are you okay? Are you awake? Are you good? Are you good? No response. And we start getting worried because we're like, okay, something's not right here. It had been probably like a couple of minutes that this guy had been non-responsive, and it was getting really, really strange. And so we're sitting there and we ended up having a discussion, and we decide that we're gonna have to call the ambulance. We're gonna have to call 911, and we're gonna have to figure out what's going on. And so as we're about to call 911, this woman comes running from the other side of the dining room in the restaurant, like running across the whole restaurant. And she is just yelling, stop, 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 stop. No, do not call the ambulance. Do not call 911. Do not call the police, blah, blah, blah. And we're shocked. Like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Like, this guy is dead. And we need to figure out if we can save his life or get him out of here. And this woman is screaming at us. And we're like, who is this lady? Come to find out, this is the man's wife. And she's yelling at us to not call the 911 to save her husband. And that really didn't make much sense to me. Grab our chilled coupe glass out of the freezer. And so this woman yells at us and she goes, he's not dead. He's just diabetic and he didn't take his insulin. And we're just like, what? As if that really made much of a difference. Like, the dude is still clearly passed out. He's clearly having a medical issue. And then we started thinking about it. I'm like, this man had been sitting there chugging beer, which is, you know, alcohol is sugar, especially beer, much more sugar. And there's caramel and cinnamon sugar on the rim, and the guy was a diabetic. We ended up calling the 911, and the ambulance took him out because we're like, lady, we don't really care if he is just a diabetic and you're his wife or whatever, but like, he should be able to, either you or him should be able to take better care of themselves and not pass out at a bar after chugging 7 beers that have cinnamon sugar rim on. All right, so let's give this a sip. This is the Throb. Oh, that's a very fascinating cocktail. It's a pretty simple riff on a daiquiri. So you get the really nice daiquiri flavor from the freshness of the lime, the crispness of the rum, but the grapefruit liqueur and the cinnamon combine in a way that is really delicious and elevates this from just like a regular daiquiri to something really, really tasty. Fantastic cocktail. Long story short, ambulance came, took the guy away, and we never really heard anything else about it. That was one of my very first experiences bartending on my own after I had been trained. It was very shocking and very weird. But if you enjoyed this video and you would like to hear more of my stories from my time bartending, let me know in the comments down below. It's kind of a new style of video I'm trying here. Oh, and if you want to learn how to make more awesome rum cocktails, I'm going to leave a video right here that I did recently.